Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. Today is Technique Tuesday and I'm happy to be with you today to talk about a technique called faux tile. So faux tile's been around a while, but I bet a lot of you have never done it, or maybe you have forgotten how to do it. So we are going to work on it today. What you need is a scoring, some sort of a way to score your cardstock. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer because we have the scoring blade. And that's all you really need. If you don't have a scoring blade, maybe you have the scoring tool, or you can even use your bone folder and a ruler to score with. So don't freak out if you don't have a scoring blade. The stamp set that I'm going to use today is called Pretty Perennials, and I'm not going to use the dies that coordinate. That's in the Spring Mini Catalog. I'm not going to use the dies today, but I am going to use lots of springy colors because I am so into spring. So what do you think of my new shirt? I got this from a friend who has a business called Pink Cheetah Boutique, and I love her clothes. So she had a little pop-up boutique, and I went and I purchased some clothes from her. So Jennifer, can you see how cute my shirt looks? I love it. So let's get started today and do some stamping. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to use a piece of cardstock, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. So the first thing you need to do is go ahead and do your scoring. And I'm going to score this every 1/2 inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is 4 inches, so I'm going to start with 3 1/2, and I'm going to use my scoring blade. I'm going to make a nice deep score line. So you don't want to go skimpy on this. You want to make sure your score lines are thick. Okay, so I'm doing every 1/2 inch. So that's 2 1/2, 2, 1 1/2, and then 1. I think I can see that. I got 1, and then a 1/2 inch. Okay. Now you don't have to do them straight. You could actually do them diagonal if you like, and if you have the scoring tool, it's really easy to do diagonals. But mine, okay, so this is 5 1/4, so I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit. It's gonna be perfectly on the 1/2 inch. Is that right? Okay, so now I'll do 3 3/4, 3 1/4. So I'm thrilled that spring is on the calendar. It is officially spring, and I am so thrilled. Have an early Easter this year, so usually that's not a good thing because either it's cold or it rains, but hey, you know what? Just got to go with it. In fact, I had my grandkids over, and I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. We actually did the Easter egg hunt in our lower level. And he said, that's where he wants to have the Easter egg hunt this year. I said, well, we will if the weather doesn't cooperate. Okay, so I have all my scoring. Get rid of that on my way. So I have all my scoring lines. Can you see that? So they're 1/2 inch squares. And as I said, you could do it any way you want. You can do it diagonal. You can do them wider. I like them close together because actually this technique, you'll see it better if it's if they're close together. So the colors that I'm going to be using today, I'm using very springy colors. I'm using, my first one I'm using is this one, and it's Melon, why can't I think? Mango Melody. And I'm using the next one. These are all Brights in the Brights collection, Bermuda Bay. And then we're going to use some Poppy Parade. And then we're going to use a little bit of Granny Apple Green and some black. Okay, so let's get started. You don't want your stamp pads over inked. You want them to be nicely inked, but not over inked, because you actually don't want the ink to go right down into those grooves. You want to kind of stay on top. So that being said, I'm not going to make these, you know, too not going to press too hard. Okay, so you can see there the grid lines start to show up. Okay, now I'm going to do some of these. Just going to go along and make that one looks really good. Okay, so just leave your stamps in your pad. That way you won't accidentally go to the wrong pad. Oh, that's not a good thing. Honestly, I hate that when I do that. I just did that once to, I was with a friend and I accidentally did do that. Okay, I'm going to, while I have some, before I mess up all the space, I'm going to pull in a couple of these. Okay, it's good for now, I think, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, I accidentally did that to one of her pads, and I felt so bad. Let's see. I guess I'll do another one of these here since I need a small spot. So it's kind of like a little puzzle. Just kind of keep going and fill in. Yes. Okay, let's do a leaf. Don't need a whole lot of leaves, but do need a little bit. So it's almost like making your own designer series paper too. Just cool, right? I usually don't like to use more than 3 colors. Actually, I've got 4 going on here because of the green, but okay. Then, so I'm finished with that. So now what I'm going to do is push some of these away and bring in the black. So I have my black memento. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and use my black in the center of some of these. This stamp set is awesome. It's easy to play with. Okay. And then this little tiny one, I'll just use that on these Bermuda Bay ones. Okay, looking good. So I think I'm done with that. So can you see? You can see the grid lines now better because I have ink on them, over them. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp Happy from the stamp set. So this is the only stamp set I'm using today, Pretty Perennials. Oops. Make sure I get that inked up. Looks good. And then I'm going to stamp Birthday. And I'm going to use the Poppy. Okay, I'm all done stamping now, so I'm going to close these pads. Clean my stamps when I'm done. Okay, now I'm going to just use my punch. I'm going to use the classic label punch. I'm just going to punch out Birthday, my classic label punch. I should definitely close this black pad. And then I'm just going to fussy cut. There is no die for Happy, which seems a little strange to me, but it fussy cuts really fast. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out real quick because I'm going to mount this on my card. Okay. I am going to double matte this piece. So I'm going to matte this on black first. Sometimes that, just a little peak of a double matte will really make your card look special. It also gives it a little extra weight, which people seem to like. Oops. There we go. Don't bend it too much. Okay. So now I am going to mount this on my black cardstock. So you're going to see just a peek of the black around the edge. And I don't think this needs any embellishments because, honestly, it's got a lot going on. So I'm not going to use any rhinestones or pearls or anything like that. I mean, you could. And you could certainly use those as some of your centers if you prefer. You could also pop this up if you like, but I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to mount it straight onto the Mango Melody cardstock. Okay, so our card opens this way. So that is, 5.5 by 8.5. Oops. And then I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this happy. Oh, don't go crazy. Okay. Then to decide where this goes, got a little glue on there, and that's just going to be nothing but trouble. Should have had my little silicone craft mat. I'm going to mount this about up here, like that. So if you wanted to, you could have put that on some foam, but I don't think it needs it. And I'm going to go ahead and add my birthday down here. Okay, I'm finished with the card. And again, this is called Faux Tile. You could also do the other side, and the other side would look completely different. So these grid lines would be popped up instead of recessed. Would look completely different, but I think this is the way I like it. So give it a try, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.